Good morning and welcome to the TMCI conference. Of course, I'm Bishop Johnny Riley. TMCI India is my responsibility. And today, my role and my responsibility is to share with you specifically about networking. You know, networking has been around since the beginning of time. Adam and Eve networked with each other. And then, of course, we can see Cain and Abel network with each other. And then, of course, the rest of humanity network with each other. And koinonias is the term, the Greek word that we can use as it relates to networking. But I want you to understand something that in order for all of us to be successful in the mission and the purpose that we have been called to in life, we must be able to network with other individuals. And not only those individuals that are a part of the Christian community, but we must be able to network with those individuals who are outside of our sphere of influence, outside of our normal group of people, outside of our community, even outside of our culture. And especially at this day and time, many of us have to come to the realization that in order for us to be successful and the task of winning disciples for Christ is that we must be willing to move outside of the norm. But networking is very, very important for us specifically. We as Christians, we must be willing to network with individuals who are in the business sector, business who are in government, individuals who are in government, individuals who are in the media, individuals who are in families that are not like our family, because those individuals all need Christ. And I think that God has set the greatest example by who he selected to lead these various different groups of people. So I want to encourage you that as we move through this particular lesson that you see specifically how important networking is. And I'm going to share the PowerPoint screen with you, and I'll come back and forth between the slides, and you'll be able to see me, but the key thing in the information is going to be there on the screen. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So first of all, let us look at this thing called networking. And in order for us to be successful, we must first understand specifically what networking is, how networking has and can impact us, and specifically how we can use this networking to help individuals who are with us, individuals who are in our community, and individuals who are there in our ministry. And, you know, there's several types of networking. There's networking and there's networkers, and we're going to talk about those individuals in a minute. But you got the operational networking, you have the personal networking, and then of course you have the strategic networking. And they're different, but the key is that we must understand specifically that we need all of those various types of networks in order for us to be successful. Ecclesiastes chapter number 4, verse number 9 through verse number 12 through the New Revised Standard Version of God's Holy Word says to us, two are better than one because they have a good reward for their toil. For if they fall, one will lift up the other, but woe to the one who is alone and falls and does not have anyone to help. Again, if two are tied together, they keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? And I'm here to say to you that we must understand that a 3-4 cord is not quickly broken. It's important for us to understand that we have to be willing to tie ourselves together, connect with other people to be successful at the ministry that God has called us to. And of course, we talked about those various different types of networking. And of course, you heard me share with you specifically about the operational. So let's dig a little bit deeper into specifically the operational level. For those who worked in corporate America, those who worked in a corporation or anything like that, you understand specifically what operations mean. But it is a network of contacts, internal contacts within a particular industry as a whole. I mean, you are looking at the overall thing as it relates to an operational. It could be, and then within the organization, when you look at the operational network, it could be the accounting department, it could be shipping, it could be those individuals who work in the HR, human resources department, but that's an operational type of thing. But in order for us to be successful, we must understand all of these particular portions of the networking. From an operational standpoint, remember, there's diversity in that particular operation. But in order for that operation to be successful, and in order for us to be successful and being a disciple maker of Christ, we must understand specifically how to operate in various different sectors. And you've heard me talk about this on several different occasions at the conference about these different sectors, these particular mountains, the government mountain, the media mountain, arts and entertainment mountain, of course, media family, religious mountains. But many of us, what we find ourselves is we just focus on one particular mountain. We just focus on the mountain of, the religious sector. But if you watch and you see and you read scripture, you'll see where Jesus did not just function within one particular mountain. He did not just function in the religious mountain. He functioned in various different areas. Even if you look at the disciples that were selected, you see them from a business perspective. You see them even in the business perspective. There's those that were in the fishing industry. Those who were part of government. And what I'm saying to us is that in order for us to be successful, we must understand specifically those particular networks and network inside of those particular areas. The next one we talked about, and we'll get a little bit deeper in that, is the personal networking. And the key thing here is that you must understand that if you're going to be successful at what you have been called to do, you must learn to function in all of these various different areas. You've got to be willing to function in these different areas. So the personal networking, and the key here on the personal side is that you, from a personal perspective, when you're networking for some benefit for yourself. Every single person has a personal network. I'm not talking about net worth. Yeah, we do have a net worth from a financial perspective, but there is a network. And if you have the best network, you're able to be successful in anything that you want to do, whether you need to do mission work, you need to have the right network in order for those individuals who say, I can't go on the mission trip, but what I can do is that I can send you. If you're willing to go, they're willing to send you on that particular mission. So you have to have the best network, because in that network, you're able to help those individuals reach their fullest potential, reach their particular goal. And there are people who are successful in one area, but they're not successful in other areas. But the key here, as it relates to personal networking, is that, and we're going to dig into this, how do we better ourselves when it comes to networking? It's important that we use the talent and the resources and the unique skills that are around us. From an operational standpoint, we have to look at the skill sets, the resources, the talents, and then there's some people who have some ideas. Those are visionary, and we'll talk about them in just a little bit also. But the key here is on the personal networking is that you must understand that every single person has a personal network, and that network is important if you're going to be successful at the mission that you're called to accomplish. And that's what we have with Jesus. Jesus understood the ability to network in various different sectors and various different groups of people, and he had a personal network. We know that he had the disciples that were there as an example of the personal network that he had. And then let's move on a little bit further from a strategic standpoint. And you must have a strategic network. And that strategic network, let's look at that just a minute. Let's look at the strategic network. We must have a strategic network. Those who play chess understand that in order to be successful at chess, you have to have a strategy. You have to think past today. You have to think past tomorrow. You have to strategically think about how you're going to connect these particular people who are in your network. But if you have the wrong group of people, and you have to assess folks, many of us don't want to assess the people who are a part of our ministry and to find out specifically who's the best person. There's some folks who don't work together. They like oil and water. They just will not mix because of whatever reason. But from a strategic standpoint, you must be willing to strategically place people together so that they can accomplish the mission. You don't want the mission to be sabotaged because of a personal conflict. So from a leadership standpoint, and this is one of the most important strategic issues that you have to learn is in order for us to be successful, we must understand specifically the people who are part of our team. And if you have the right people on your team, you have the right leaders. And I didn't say you have to be in the leadership position all the time. You have to know specifically where to put the players. Football is coming back now on the local level, national level, international level. And the key thing is that, in order for a team to be successful, they must understand specifically the talents that are on the team, that are part of the team, that are bought into the mission. And, everyone cannot play every position. So you have to find the right people. And in this networking, what you must understand is that you have to also figure out specifically why people are a part of your team. Take a note on that. Why are people part of my team? Why are people wanting to be a part of the group that I am associated with? Because you need to know specifically what their motive is. That people have various different motives, and you must have, when we look at the word koinonias, it's a community of mutual sharing, community of shared identities and of understanding, of support, and of solidarity. Okay, so when we talk about this group with mutual understanding and mutual identity and mutual support, some people come into the group with a different mindset. Remember, you got to think about where they came from, what culture they came from, what is their thought process, how do they think through various different situations and problems and circumstances, because that is important for us if we're going to be successful with the mission. And remember now, the mission is for us to continue to push the objective of Jesus Christ forward. For our organization, whether it's a nonprofit organization, a community development corporation, or we're serving soup, we are actually preaching the gospel in India or Asia. If we're going to be successful, we have to understand specifically those individuals who are on our team, that are part of our team, those individuals, and specifically why they are part of specifically what we're doing. And so you're trying to say, so, all right, you talked to me about this thing called networking. You talked to me about these three specific strategies. You talked to me about this issue of not only strategy, but you've spoken to me about the personal network, the operational network. And so what's next? What is it related to that? I understand that. So if you understand that, we need to move a little bit further into the discussion. Let me share screen with you so you can see specifically where we're going next. Just a second, here we go. So next, we're gonna move on to this issue of types of networkers. So you have this person who is a visionary. You have the person that's a realist. You have a person that is a connector. Of course, we know from a visionary standpoint specifically what we're talking about when we're talking about a visionary, but I'll dig into it a little bit deeper. The realist is a person who like, this is what's really happened. And many people don't like realists because realists just gets up in your face and they tell you specifically the way it is. And then those connectors are those social butterflies, and we'll dig into that just a little bit later. But the key here is you must understand that these are various different types of networkers. You remember me talking earlier about your networking or your group of network. Your group, you have to understand specifically what they are. Are they a visionary? Are they a realist? Are they just a connector? So that's going to be important for you to understand specifically who they are. Here's the visionary. Okay, so we have the visionary, and the visionary is a person that you want to connect to because one thing you'll find out about that person is that that person is motivated and they are inspiring. They already come with new, fresh ideas. They can energize you. And those are people who they want to meet new people, but they meet new people based on their strategy. They meet new people based on specifically where they're going. They know where they're going. So what you have to do as a leader is figure out specifically when it comes to those individuals that are visionaries in your network, you have to connect to them based on a purpose. So if you don't know specifically why you want to be in this network, something like that, it's going to be very difficult to connect to a person who is a visionary connector. Those individuals are ones who really want to move you forward. So, and then of course, next we have the realist. The realist now, some people don't like the realist, but the realist is the person who really can keep you grounded. That person can keep you grounded in where you are. That person basically is not an optimist or a pessimist. That person is, optimists say it's half full. The pessimists say it's half empty, but a realist say, yeah, this is a glass, all right. So I want you to think about that. A realist says there's water, there's water in this glass, and guess what? I need a drink, so I'm gonna drink this particular water that's in the glass. So, and you cannot allow yourself to be pushed into a situation where you're offended by a realist, because a realist is going to tell you the truth. In many cases, they're not going to sugarcoat it. They're not a person who want to spend a lot of time dealing with you and the ideas that you're sharing. They're going to say, hey, you told me that last week. And we're going to talk about in your network how you should meet on a regular basis and things like that. But here, you want a realist as a part of your team. You want a visionary as a part of your team. You want a realist as a part of your team. You want those individuals as a part of your team because they can help move you forward, because the visionary is going to be able to see forward and going to be able to help you navigate through some of the roadblocks that's going to happen. And a realist is going to help you get to the point where you're going to be able to make it through whatever you're going to face. And they're going to be able to say, take ownership of this, that there's water in the glass and you're thirsty and you need to drink some of this water that's in the glass. And sometimes that's challenging because we don't want to use up the resources that we have. Let me give you another example. You're a missionary and you are on the battlefield. You're out there, you're doing the work. And the visionary says that, yes, there's some additional work that you can do here. There's other missionaries that's going to come connect to you. There's additional money and resources that's going to connect to you. The realist is going to say to you, hey, it's not here right now. Basically, pace yourself when it comes to you moving into the next area that God has called you into. Those are some examples, or that's an example of specifically how you can use a visionary and a realist as a part of your network. But you need them in order for you to be successful at what you have been called to do. But if you don't put them to work, remember their vision, their ideas, and you can't move into self. You know, many of us find ourselves because we didn't think of the idea. We don't want somebody to be a part of our team. We all are in this together. As I read Ecclesiastes chapter number 9, we can see that if you're cold outside and you don't have anyone to keep you warm, it's going to be a challenge for you. So I would encourage you to really have those two people as a part of your team. Let's look a little bit deeper into this. So the third group that I talked about, and let's look at this third group that I talked about. We talked about this third group. Let's look at this third group. This third group is what we call a connector. This person is the most important. If I had to categorize them, I would rank them connector 1, the realist 2, visionary with the as number 3 if I had to rank them for a current time. But you do need them all. Now I don't want you to discount these people who are in these other categories. But when it comes to a connector, this is a person who is a social butterfly. You need this person as a part of your team. Why? Because this particular person has the ability to connect you to, just as the name says, a connector. This person has the ability to connect you to those individuals who are visionaries, those individuals who you need from a strategic standpoint in your network. They have the ability to connect you to operational people who can help you put together your videos, who can help you put together your CDs or your MP4s, who can help you with the website. Those individuals from a connecting standpoint are very, very important. These people know a whole lot of people. They're at all of the chamber events. They're at the football game. They're at the soccer game. They are connected. They're at the church functions. They're at the city council meetings. They are there. They're in the know. These are people that you can also have on your team who can provide you with information. They can provide you with information about what's really going on in the town. Of course, you know, when you move into a town and you are a new person in that particular town, what happens is that there's sometimes you don't have access to the information. You don't have access to what you need in order for you to be successful with the ministry that you've been called to, and what you need to do there in that particular community. You must be willing to meet with connectors. Yes, connectors are going to talk about a whole lot of stuff, but those individuals have the ability to connect you to the right people. And I encourage you to, in your Rolodex, to have a group of people based on the sectors that are connectors. So we have the sectors, and we talked about this several years in a row about the governmental sector, the media sector, the media mountain, the governmental mountain, but there's sectors, and the educational system, that sector, arts and entertainment, that sector, the business sector. You want to have all of those, but a part of that, you want to also have connectors in each one of those sectors. We're talking about networking now, because if you're going to be successful in ministry, you have to connect to people. And in this day and age, there's so much distrust among us. There's so much distrust from cultural distrust, from political distrust, from race distrust, from neighborhood distrust, from all kinds of issues that are out there from a divisive standpoint and from a divisional standpoint. We have a lot of people who just don't trust each other. And with that being the case, you need connectors that will open the doors for you. You remember the story of Paul and his conversion. Paul finds himself now having a new mission. And this new mission is for him to help the people that he had been torturing, he had been prosecuting and persecuting, those people that he had been treating wrong. Now the Lord has shifted it where now he is going to be the person who leads them. Challenging situation, but there was a connector. And what I'm saying to you today is that there are connectors, there are individuals that are out there that can help you and can help me get to where I want to be. Personal story. I needed access to something, and I won't get into details on the details of, but I needed access to something, let's say a building. However, I did not have any connections with the board of directors, anyone who worked there. I had connected with, not even the janitors, I didn't have connected with anyone that could give me access to this particular building. But I had an event that I wanted to do. There was something that I needed to do. This building was the perfect location, but because I did not have access, I did not have a connector, it was going to be challenging for me. So what I'm saying to you today is that I was able to connect to someone else through a connector who said, yes, they are good people. Yes, they'll take care of your building. Yes, they want to abuse your material, your stuff in the building. They'll clean it up afterwards. And that was because of a connection. A connector connects you to the right people. And because of that connection, I was able to get into the building at no cost. Why? Because of the connector and because of the relationship that I had with the connector. So what I'm encouraging you to do is to connect to people that are connected. You're saying, well, I'm using the people. No, I'm saying that you're connecting to people who have access so that you can complete the mission and the task that God has assigned to you and for you to accomplish in this lifetime. Jesus had connectors, right? Did not Jesus have connectors? We can see all of who did he use? Fishermen. He used business people. He used those fishermen. Why? Fishermen had connections within the community. There's trust that can be done there, that can be experienced because of connecting to the right persons. And I want to encourage you to build your network. So one of the assignments that I have, and I hope you have some note paper beside you, is that one, I would like for you to do, right, network at the top, NETWORK. And on that, I want you to circle it and put down 6 people or 7 people that you know that are connectors. 7 people who are connectors. Those individuals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 connectors, put their phone number, and your assignment is this, is that over the next 7 days, if you can pull it off for 14 days, what I need for you to do is take those individuals and set up a breakfast, a lunch, a brunch, or a dinner with them. And you say, well, I don't have any money. Well, go to IHOP or go to Waffle House, go to Golden Corral, or go to wherever you can go to based on where we are now from this pandemic standpoint. Have a conversation with them, a 30-minute conversation with them, and then explain to them, here's what my mission is in life. And then, ask them to help you. Ask them to help you connect to the right people. And then you're saying, so what's in it for them? Well, what's in it for them is a relationship with you, because remember, you have connections too. So that assignment, 7 people, write down your notes right now, 7 people. Hey, I'm going to connect with these individuals in these various different sectors, And because of that, I'm going to be able to connect or expand my network. And when you expand your network, you expand your net worth. And your net worth is not only financial, but your net worth is also based on who you know, because there's some things that you cannot pay for, and there's something that people will not allow you to pay for because of your connection to them. They believe in your vision, they believe in your mission, they believe in specifically what you have been called to accomplish, what you have been called to do. And at that particular point, you're also able to, when you're having some social gathering, you're able to invite these individuals who are your connector, and you tell them, invite 3 people. Remember, they're connectors. They already know people. They know the other social butterflies that are in their community that like going to places. You know, of course, I'm an introvert, so that's not my thing. However, I know in order for me to be successful at what God has called me to do, I must be willing to reach out to those in other areas, those in other sectors, because if I reach out to those in other sectors, what happens to me is that I'm able to be successful at what I have been called to do. So that's what I want to encourage you to do if you're going to be successful. And we're talking about being successful at the ministry that we've been called to. We're talking about being successful at the tasks that we've been called to accomplish. And you say, well, I don't know specifically what I've been called to do. I'm here to say to you, yeah, you may not know all the details. That is fine. The key thing is write down 7 people that I am going to connect to. And those 7 people, you're going to be able to make a difference in their lives. You're going to be able to change the outlook of your ministry. Because some people, you think folks in building, they're going to come. If they don't know specifically what you are attempting to do, they just think you're just another church, another ministry that is out there. You have to be willing to go out into the areas where there are people who do not know Jesus. And I'm not saying wear your clergy collar when you go out there. You got to dress the way they dress. I'm not talking about dressed inappropriately, but I'm talking about dress the way that they dress, because that's where the people are. Jesus went to where the people were so he can get into the network. And because of Jesus, you remember the woman who had the issue with the blood situation. Guess what? The network, the word got out. Hey, there's a fella named Jesus. He healing some folks. So because he healing some folks, the woman say, I'm going to go try him out. And I'm here to say to you, that's what can happen to you. That's what can happen to your ministry. But the key thing that you must understand is that you must be willing to move outside of your current network in order to move into networking so that you can increase your net worth. All right, you got to move outside of your current network and move to a point where you can increase your networking, and then you can increase your net worth. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a little bit. Let's share another screen with you right quick. Here we go on how to build our personal network. Let's get there right quick. All righty, let's go into that. All right, here we go. Here's tips to build a personal network. One, since we're in a situation where we're in a pandemic, I want to give you some easy things to do from a social media standpoint. If you, as a believer, is not using social media right now to push the gospel, I mean, you missed it. Because social media is right now where people are. They're looking on social media all day long. They're tired of watching the news. They're tired of all of that. So in order for them to find out specifically what's going on, what they're doing is they're using social media as their way of gaining additional information. So I would encourage you, join. There's always groups. When you look at, let's say, for instance, Facebook. With Facebook, there are groups that are out there. And for instance, you can search what's going on in your hometown. And I guarantee you, there is a group of people who are talking about what's going on in town. There's some people who say, well, Pastor, how do you find out what's going on in Australia? How do you find out what's going on in South Africa? How do you find out what's going on in the Philippines? Why? Here's how you find out. It's because you are a part of a group that's in that particular location. And I'm talking to people around the country, and I'm saying around the world. I say to them, hey, did you know so-and-so happened, or this particular thing's happened? They say, well, how did you know that? I'm in the group. So I'd encourage you. Action item number 2. First item is connectors. Item number 2 is from a social media standpoint. We're talking about building your personal network. Social media standpoint, you want to look at Facebook and look at the groups that are in Facebook. LinkedIn, you want to look at LinkedIn. Make sure you are professional. You're a professional missionary. You're professional. You're a pastor as professional. Whatever your title, bishop, you're a professional. Use that on LinkedIn. You'll be surprised the number of people who are on LinkedIn who need Jesus. Not only do they need Jesus, they also need somebody to talk to about their particular issue. If your expertise is family counseling and specifically dealing with husband and wife issues, what you can do is every morning on LinkedIn, say, hey, if you're having issues in your marriage, give me a call. What does it cost you? It doesn't cost you anything. You're on LinkedIn, it's for free. Somebody's going to take you up on that. Or if there's somebody having trouble with their children, or if you know how to deal with individuals who have drug addiction, children with drug addiction issues, guess what? You offer that on LinkedIn and somebody will oblige you. Somebody will call you up on that. I posted something on social media as an experiment. This is what the experiment was. If you're a fan of this page, and some of you all responded, I would like for you to, 1, like this page, and then 2, tell me where you're from. Why did I do that? 1 is, of course, the algorithm for Facebook and Twitter and all these guys is that they only let a few people see your post anyway. But if you can get some folks to say, respond to your particular post, what happens is that keeps them seeing your particular post. But the goal here was very simple. It was, 1, to offer something to people and see if they will respond. So what that tells me is that it tells me that if you post, hey, if you need help with your marriage, or you and your husband are going through, or you and your wife are going through, or you want to get married and you don't know how to go through the process, I'm here to say to you, you can use that, and that will expand your network and your net worth, not only to yourself, but also to other people. Second point is that this is tips to building a personal network. Is focus on people that fit with your goals. And I'm talking about your direct network. You want people who fit with your specific goals. So item number 3 is this. You need to write down specifically what your goals are. All right, here's the deal. Since you watched this video, since you're looking at this video, what I want to encourage you to do is I've created this personal daily planner. In the front of the personal daily planner, I'm not pushing this from an objective standpoint as it relates to me making money off you or anything like that. What I've done is that at the front of this booklet, and it's a personal planner, is that what I've done is 5-year goals, 3-year goals, 1-year goals, 6-month goal, 3-month goal, 1-year goal, weekly goals, and the daily goals. If you do not know where you're going, remember I talked about the visionary? The visionary, it may ask you the question is, so why are you a missionary? If you don't have 25 words or less, you've lost them. You have to know specifically what your goals are, and then from that point, connect to people who can fit into your specific objectives in life. The third point, give first. I told you on LinkedIn, see, you're going to give to people first. We must be willing to give until it hurts. And people say, well, you're talking about giving money? Yeah, you can give money, but sometimes people don't need money. That's their problem. They have too much of it, or they don't have enough of it. But if just imagine, some people just need you to give love. Some people need you to give that you care, because they have no one else in their life that care. But if you show that you care about them, I'm here to say to you that there will be benefits in your net worth will increase because you are willing to give to those particular individuals. Then, number 4, you want to reconnect often. I talked to you about item number 1 for you was to connect to those individuals who are connectors. You want to connect to them often. Based on that first meeting, you can determine specifically what and why you need to connect to them, when you need to connect to them, and how often you need to connect to them. And it could be just you're all at the same events, you connect, how things going, anything you need from me, anything you need from me, I can help you with this, or I can help you with that. That helps you build your personal net work. The 5th item, you have to use some tools to find out where people are. Eventbrite.com is a service. You can also sign up for your ministry and things like that and put your events on there. Eventbrite is one of those tools that you can use not only to promote your own events, but to find out specifically what events are going on in your community. Here's what I love about Eventbrite. I love the free events. I don't have to pay. And then, of course, when Barbara and I were really active, and then when I was in government, working in government, I could go to events and they were free. And guess what they had? They always had food. So guess what? You can go to these free events, eat your dinner or your lunch for free. You're talking about saving. You're trying to figure out, well, Lord, I can't afford to keep going to lunch. Guess what? You can go to these events, eat for free, and you can also network with people and then be able to really push the objective forward of specifically what you are attempting to do. I want you to understand now, when these next items, when last 3, when you create a personal network, you need to know specifically in 25 words or less, why does your organization exist? My personal mission in life is very simple. I was created and I was placed on earth to make a difference in the lives of every person that I meet. That's my objective in life. If I come in contact with you and you stay around me long enough, I'm going to have you believing that you can do what you can do. And that's what you must understand, is that you must understand specifically why you are here from a personal standpoint, and then from the standpoint of creating a network where you can accomplish greater things. Okay, the next item is you have to connect to other people. You want to connect to other people, and you want to become a connector too. You want to connect to those other people because you want to be able to help with them, show them the way, and then, of course, move them further down the road. If you're connecting to people and it's all about you and what you're going to get out of the deal, people are going to see through you. And when they see through you, they're not going to want to interact with you because they think that you're just a user. And as a person who is called to do the work of God, you don't want people to label you as that particular person who is a user, who only wants what they can get. You only want them to join your church. You only want their tithes and their offering. People get sick and tired of that. But the key thing you got to understand is that you want to connect to people and connect to people sincerely as you're creating your network. And then, of course, if there's a group that you want to create or there's a passion that you have, and there's not a group out there, the key thing that you could do is you could start your own. You could start your own group. You can start your own group, and you can be a connector too. And use that as an avenue, not only from a mission standpoint, but use that as an avenue to change the lives of individuals that you are connected to change the lives of people that you've been called to serve. So my key thing here is that you have to understand that as a believer, your job is connecting people. As a believer, you want to connect people, You want to make sure that they're able to experience Jesus in a way where they can stick and not leave. So social media, tips to building the personal network. Social media, we talked about LinkedIn. We want to focus on the person and how they fit in with your goal. But first of all, you need to know what your goal is. You want to be the first person to give something. And then you want to reconnect often, monthly or something like that. You want to, or weekly in some cases. You want to use some of these tools that are out there, Eventbrite. They're not paying me. I'm just saying it worked good for me on finding events and things of that nature. You want to connect to others at these particular events. And then, of course, you want to possibly start your own group because that is important. So let's talk about how to create this particular thing where people want to help you. You say, well, really, will people help me? Yes, I really believe, and I may be proven wrong one day, but I really believe that people in society really want to help other people. I really believe that. I'm telling you, I just really believe that we are willing to help each other. I may be naive, but I've seen it happen in my life over and over and over again, where people have helped me and did not want anything in return. Okay, so let's deal with this thing. Creating a network of people who will consistently help you. What's in it for me? Here's what I want you to first think about. Expect nothing in return first. Well, you just said people gonna help me. You don't want to expect anything because people can read you. You know that? They know when you are there to receive from them. They know when the phone rings that you want something from them. You never call them to say, hey, how you doing? That you always are wanting something for them. So, and we're talking about networking, but in order for you to get people who want to help you in your network, first you have to expect nothing in return. Second, you want to make relationships that are meaningful. You want to make relationships that really matter. You don't want these surface relationships, these business card type of relationships where you're just passing business cards out to people, and you're going through 200-300 business cards every week. Guess what? No, because everybody said, I received that last time. He just passed business cards out. If you're going to pass business cards out, pass out business cards that, guess what, have something on the back of them, have a scripture on the back of them. Don't put the scripture on there. Just put what the Lord said on there without the scripture. Because some people, once they see the scripture, it turns them off. Take the scripture off, just put on there, God loves you. All things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and call according to his purpose. Use those because you're building meaningful relationships, lasting relationships. And those relationships from a connecting standpoint will help increase your net worth. Third item, focus on transparency. Be real with the people. If there's something that you do not know, let them know you don't know it. Let them know that, hey, I just don't know how that works. If you don't know anything about finances, find somebody who knows something about finances. And if you're in business or you're in ministry and you have lots of money coming in, and it seems like at the end of the month you don't have enough money to let ends meet, what you have to do is figure out specifically, hey, can I find somebody who is an accountant who may want to volunteer and teach me and my staff specifically what the issues are here? For instance, on the next call that I have with the group of people who are connected to our ministry, our leaders, what we're going to do is we're going to invite a lawyer in. Why are we inviting a lawyer in? We want them to talk about the legality of COVID-19 and going back to church, and specifically, are there liabilities? What are the liabilities? What safeguards can we put in place so we can say to anybody who comes to us and say, well, we did this, we did this, we did this to protect ourselves and protect the assets that the Lord has given us to manage. All right, the next item. Make sure your connection knows what valuable to you. The people that you connected to, they need to know your mission. They need to know specifically what you stand for. They need to know your mission. They need to know specifically what you stand for. They need to know what your values are. Because everybody that we connect to don't have the same values. They don't have the same upbringing. They didn't come from the same culture. And we have to understand that. I'm not saying that they're a bad person. What I'm saying is we have to understand specifically from a cultural standpoint what they value. What I like about this is specifically this one is that I've had opportunities to go represent companies in foreign countries. But part of the briefing, the end briefing, is that they bring an expert in that understands the culture compared to our culture. For instance, there's some places you don't shake hands. There's some places that you pass a business card with two hands, face up, not face down. I mean, all of those little things you have to understand when you're connecting to people. So people have to understand specifically what you value. How many times have you gone on a mission trip and you've offended somebody and you didn't even know you offended them? Why? Because you didn't understand their culture. You didn't value them enough to do research on what they like, why they like it. And that's what I encourage you to do, is be willing to do item number 4. Know specifically what the person that you're connecting to, what they value. If you look at them on Facebook or things like that, you'll be able to see specifically what they value. The next item is show appreciation. Easy thing. Go to the Dollar Tree. Buy some thank you cards and send a thank you card to people. Because most folks today don't send mail, but just imagine if you send a thank you card with your business card in there, and say to them, thank you very much. I've enjoyed being with you. I enjoy spending some time with you. I look forward to reconnecting you in the future. And guess what? You show appreciation. Or if there's a particular thing that you have, like there's a specific book that you've written, send them a copy of your book free of charge. Great meeting with you. I wrote this book, had you in mind. I look forward to your feedback on this particular book. The next item is, remember, small gestures are just as valuable. You must be able to do those small things. Those small things are things that will help you. Those small things are things that will make an impact in it. And you say, so what's in it for me? When you are able to provide people with the small things, what happens is you transform, you change how things are for those particular individuals. So here we go. So we've seen specifically from a networking standpoint, specifically what we can do, how we can make a difference in the lives of those individuals that we're connected to. But the thing is, so how do I improve my skills? How do I get better? I'm here to say to you that you can get better. But the key thing is that, do you want to get better? It takes a personal mission to say that, hey, I need to get better in this particular area. Let's look at that a little bit deeper. Check this out. Here we go. All right, let me fix it so you can see it. Here we go right here. Here's what we have to do. Here's what we have to do. Our communication habits have to improve. We have to be willing to accept constructive feedback. And then we have to attend networking events. Let's look at this, improving our communication habits. Here's what we have to do. We have to talk to people in their language. You say, what am I talking about? Here's what I'm talking about. There's some people, many of us who are college educated, many of us who have advanced degrees, sometimes we use words that people have no idea what we just said. And they get offended because they don't understand specifically the words that we're using. So what I'm saying to you, be very cautious on the words that you use based on the environment that you're in, especially those who are, have you ever been on a mission trip and you have a translator and you say a word and the translator looks at you like, what did he just say? You have to understand specifically the culture. That's what I'm talking about, understanding the culture. And if we're going to improve our networking skills, we have to really deal with our communication. If you're lacking in English, take an English class. Or if you're trying to figure out from a Spanish standpoint, take a Spanish class, or if you're trying to go to a country, take a class in that particular, so you can at least understand the dialect, or you hang out with some people who are from that particular culture, that particular country, because it gives you an idea specifically how to function in that particular environment. The next one is you want at networking events, I talked about these connectors and these visionaries. You want to make sure that you have somebody who will give you constructive feedback. Ask your friends about, well, how am I coming across? Some of us are offensive. In what we say, how we say it, we offend people. And we don't know that, well, some of us know we offend people, but the majority of the people, we don't know that we've offended somebody based on what we've said because it's acceptable in our environment. But remember, we're in a different environment. We're trying to expand our network. Either we want to get better, and if we want to get better, what happens is that we're willing to accept constructive criticism, and that constructive criticism will actually help us to get better and reaching our objective. Remember, I talked earlier about your goal. What is your goal? If your goal is to stay where you are right now, guess what? Turn it off. I'm not the person that you need to be talking to, because you're not willing to move past where you are. But if you're going to be successful at what you have been called to do, and that is to win those for Christ that God connects you to, you must be willing to accept constructive criticism, and sometimes it hurts. But in order for us to be successful in increasing our networking and our net worth, we must be willing to accept somebody giving us feedback so that we can be successful at what we've been called to do. The next item is we need to attend networking events. I've harped on this. I've talked about this. I'm saying that, guess what? You cannot stay at your house and just be on the internet and think that you're going to be able to be successful at what God has called you to do. If you're in a foreign land, guess what I tell you? Start network with some people, because the people, it's amazing to me the number of people who want to connect to us because we're in America, or matter of fact, because you're from somewhere different. They want to connect to you and find out specifically what is it really like. So what I want to encourage you to do is I want to encourage you to attend these networking events, so specifically if it's safe. Now, some places it's not safe. I'm not encouraging you to do it there, but in these places where it's safe, attend these events so people can see you outside of Sunday morning. And you'll be surprised, some of the members of the congregation that you're serving or the students that you're teaching, some of them will see you in their culture, and then they'll have more respect for you because you were willing to come out of your cocoon. You're willing to come out of your walls and move into their environment. And if you're willing to move into those particular environments, what happens is that you're able to really make a much more meaningful impact on those particular individuals. So you must be willing to what? Increase your communication, accept constructive criticism, and you must be willing to, guess what? Move past that and then attend some of these social events that are out there. All right, so here we go. Let's move on a little bit further down into our presentation. Then we're gonna close this thing out. All right, we're gonna move. Let's move on down. Let's see. Our next subject is going to be, here we go. All right, here we go. Important networking skills. You've heard me talk about communication. I've talked about that quite a bit. So let's look at these other ones. These other ones that we have is communication, active listening. Be willing to active listen. Active listening is not when you listen and then you're trying to figure out specifically what you're going to say next. Or active listening, what you must be there to do is listen to the person and repeat back to them what they just said, not what your response is going to be. You must be willing to hear what they said. Listen to what they said. Not just hear it, but listen. Also, your social skills. You must understand specifically how to enter the room. Don't go pile your plate full at a networking event and, pig out, because then they don't want to invite you no more. I'm talking about all of those social skills. You got to be willing to deal with that. Your public speaking skills, you got to be willing to fine tune that. Toastmasters International is a great place for you to get those additional skills. Your nonverbal skills. If you fold your arms like this, guess what? People say they're not interested in what I'm talking about. So if you got to be dealing with that, your interpersonal skills, empathetic, you got to be positive. There's enough negativity in the world. You have to be willing to be positive with the people. The people want to hear some good news. They don't want to keep hearing negative news. You got to have you a joke or two. I'm talking about a clean joke or two. You have to have a joke or two that you can tell that is clean, that is wholesome, that the person can repeat in another environment, and that you make them feel good. You want them to feel really good about meeting you, and you're always having something good, something positive to say, even when they are saying to you something negative. When they say, well, it looks like I'm not going to be able to get this promotion, well, say, you still have a job. They're still paying you, right? It's about shifting the conversation. Be positive, be focused. Know specifically what you're trying to accomplish, what you're going to accomplish, because that is going to be very, very important for you if you're going to make it through specifically what you have been called to accomplish. So we've talked a lot today, and I've shared a whole lot with you about what's going on as it relates to networking. And let's sum this up. Let me move back to the first screen so we can look at that. And then from that point, really deal with the types of issues when it comes to us being successful at what we call ourselves to do, what God has called us to do. Hopefully you had called yourself to it, but you must be strategic. You must have a personal networking, understand specifically what your personal networking is, what your circle is, have some goals. You must be strategic on specifically where you're going to be and why you are there. You got to play not checkers, but chess, not focus on just today, but focus on the future. You must be the networkers, the visionary, the person that is a realist. You want to make sure that you have them in your life. The connectors, make sure the connectors are there because they're important to you if you're going to be successful. Remember, the realist is saying there's water in the glass, and with that water in the glass, if you need something to drink, go ahead and drink it, but don't drink all the water because it may be hot tomorrow. And then a connector, you want to make sure you're connecting to people, because if you're connecting to people, you're able to be successful at what you have been called to accomplish. And then, of course, how do you build a personal network? Use social media, focus on people who fit with you, be a person who's a giver, connect to people, use it often. If there's not a group, create your own group. Use Eventbrite as one of those tools to help you get there. You want to expect nothing in return. You want to make meaningful relationship, be transparent with people, show appreciation, do small gestures for individuals. Those are things that you will need to do in order for you to be successful at being what you've been called to do, and that is to be a supernatural connector to individuals who can and will be able to push your objective forward. I want to thank you for being a part of our broadcast. Thanks TMCI for this opportunity to speak to the individuals around the world. I'm here to say to you that we can make it happen. There are greater things that will happen, but the key thing for us is we must be connected to the right sources and connected to the right people. So I just want to encourage you today to continue to increase your networking ability so that you can increase your net worth. It's important for us to understand that we're able to change the landscape, but it takes all of us working together in order for us to do that. But I just want to thank you very much for being a part of TMCI and specifically giving me this opportunity to speak with you today. God bless you. Look forward to seeing you.